you get on this terrific TV show in a role that just was perfect for you, this great role as April in Parks and Rec. And so I'm just curious, how did that happen? How did you get that part?
It's a weird like series of little things that happened, but that specifically was because I don't even know how to start. But basically, I came out to LA because I was like up for Judd Apatow's movie Funny People, which I got, but like he was trying to cast a completely unknown comedian. That's a whole different story, but where he wanted to cast a stand-up comedian, and I wasn't doing stand-up, but I was doing improv and sketch comedy at UCB.
Right.
But I basically like pretended to be a stand-up to get that part or whatever, and then Allison Jones was casting that movie, and I didn't have an agent at the time, but because I made it up the ranks of the audition process for that, I flew out to LA for 1 week to do a chemistry read with Seth Rogen, and then while I was in LA, Allison Jones was like, would you mind going on a couple other meetings, and how do you feel about that? And I had no idea what was going on, because I'm like, this is crazy. I was like, you know, I had nothing going on for me. Like in New York, I was like doing comedy stuff, but I was like, sure, like I'll go to whatever meeting you want, lady. I don't give a shit. And then so she like basically said, she was like,
this is infuriating any actor out there.
No, believe me, I know.
There's so many starving actors out there like, I'm sorry, I'm Allison Jones, a top casting director. Would you go on a few big-time reads? Hey, lady, I don't know. I got nothing to do. I don't give a shit.
First of all,
fuck off.
I was kidding.
Yeah, I know.
Second of all,
I know.
Allison Jones changed my life. Okay, as I'm sure she's changed so many people's lives, but not everyone, you know, went to whatever. You know what she did, but she
went to the devil and signed a contract in 1993.
You know what
That's what I did.
You know what you did.
I know what I did.
But so she was like, I'm going to send you on these couple meetings or whatever. One of them is with the creators of The Office, and The Office was on the air at the time, and it was huge. And so I was like, yeah, like I'll go meet the Office people and give a shit, lady. But I was in LA for the first time, so I was like, LA, like I was wearing jean shorts, like I was like, I didn't realize the weight of that meeting. And then so I went to the set of The Office. It was like somewhere in the fucking valley, or I don't even know where I was, but all I remember is like I went into, I think it was Mike Schur's office, and I kept seeing the actors from The Office, like Mindy Kaling and BJ Novak, and people like walking by, and I'm like, oh my God, those are the people in The Office. And he was like, that's because we're on the set of The Office. And I was like, this is crazy, dude. And then we were waiting for Greg Daniels, and then Greg came in, and again, they hadn't written the pilot at that point. They were just talking about they had Amy, and they were talking about the ideas for the pilot or something. And then I don't know, like, I don't even know what I did in that meeting. Mike Schur says, like, she was the weirdest person I ever met. I wasn't being weird, okay? I don't even know what I was doing, but Greg came in, and then, you know how weird Greg is. And then
yes, I do.
Greg and I, like, immediately we literally started talking about the meaning of life. I don't even know what we were talking about. It was like we were high or something. Like, he came in, and he was like, what happens after you die? I'm like, okay, this is what I've been saying. I don't know, dude. Like, what do you think? And then we were like,
this is Greg's process, by the way. This is how he casts. Steve Carell apparently was awful in his audition, but then had a really good theory for what lies at the end of the universe. And Greg, that's what Greg wanted to know.
Okay, all I remember is like, I have an image of Greg, like, I want to say he was like doing a Rubik's Cube. That he wasn't, but I want to say he was like knitting something, or I don't know.
If it was Greg, he was probably knitting a Rubik's Cube.
Okay, he was like knitting a Rubik's Cube.
A functional Rubik's Cube.
He wasn't making a lot of eye contact. And I just remember he was like, I don't know. And I was looking at him, and I was like, this guy is fucking really weird. And then we were talking, and then Mike was just watching it like, what am I watching here? And then he was basically, then he started telling me the idea for the show. And he was like, Amy's going to have an assistant, and maybe she's going to be like this. And then I was like, that's a stupid idea or something. Not really, but I was basically like, oh, like, she should have an assistant that's like a college intern that's like really smart, that is just doing it for credit and like hates everybody, but like is good at her job but doesn't give a shit about it or something. I pitched him the character, basically. And then he was like, okay. And then that was it. And then I
I told Greg Daniels exactly what my character was and how it would fit into this show, and he went, okay.
Whatever.
No, I don't know. I'm pretty
cool.
sure that's what happened. And then I pitched him that, and then basically I found that was it. And then I left, and I'm like, well, that was weird. And then basically a couple weeks later or something, they called me. They're like, you're in this show. And I think the original pilot that they wrote, the character's name was Aubrey. It was just Aubrey in the pilot.
Right.
And then when NBC, I guess, was going to sign off on me, they made me audition to play myself.
Yeah.
They were like, you got to audition now. I'm like, to play myself? Like,
Right.
I hope I get the part. Like, then I went in and did an audition where I don't even know what I did. And then they changed it into April, and then that was it. And I'm like, great. I didn't even want to be on TV. I was trying to be in movies, bro.
Let me just say one thing, because it's just that sometimes the universe, everything comes together in too nice a way. Greg Daniels, who is running The Office, and with Mike Shure is doing Parks and Recreation. He and I started out in the business together. Just quick disclosure, as writing partners, and we've been friends forever. And we text each other all the time. And Greg I love him, and he's brilliant and really super funny. His mind works differently. This is a text I got on my way this morning to Larchmont to come do this podcast, not knowing that Greg's name would even come up. I'm just going to, talk to Aubrey. I get this text out of the blue from Greg. I haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks, and I just get this text. How you doing? I had a weird dream you hurt your left hand. Hope you're great. I just picked up my phone and was like, okay, you brought up Greg. I've got to...
I don't know. That sounds sexual.
I know. So I'll be calling him later to find out exactly what happened in this dream.
Your left hand jerking me off. What's up? It's me, Greg. Remember us?
You jerk off Greg Daniels?
In the dreams, we both... It's a... What the hell happened here?
You numbed your left hand for the stranger.
Yeah, what were you doing with your left hand? Greggy.
Man.
Little Greggy?
Yeah, exactly. Not little Greggy. It's made of concrete, that thing. It broke my hand.
God, you guys are sick.
You're sick. You did this. You introduced that whole image and then circled around and accused me of being a perv.
It's really you two weird Catholics at the end of the table.
I know.
Doing all of
I know.
If it's wrong, it feels so good. Right, Conan?
Well, that's interesting. That's fascinating. When you got this part, and then you're off and running. You're off and running.
I got that part. I got Funny People, and I got Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, directed by Edgar Wright, in 1 week.
Oh, my God.
When does that happen? Man, I was in the right time, in the right place, in the right jean shorts.
I've just realized that when I auditioned for the Late Night show in '93, I was wearing very short jean shorts.
Oh, really?
I think that...
Remember when I first met you for this podcast?
You were wearing super short jean shorts.
That's right.
Hey, you got to show a little leg, baby.
A little bit more than that. You gotta show that little undershelf. You
want to play in the big leagues.
That little overhang
up a little
that Tom
bit.
Cruise climbs in Mission Impossible.
I learned that. God. Yep. I was lucky. I was a lucky little waitress from Queens.